So the unofficial depth chart came out today, and honestly, it seems pretty on point to what we all think. But there are a couple spots that kind of caught my eye that I want to talk about.
Everywhere, this is for you.
Fly was flying on the team. Touchdown. Time to get Jaylen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird gang nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling on Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man soft. Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randall. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco. Thanks for tuning in.
What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Brandon here with Philly the podcast, and I saw that the new depth chart came out today, the unofficial depth chart for this is coming up Thursday's preseason game. And if you haven't seen it, go to Philly TP on Instagram. We got it there. You can go through it and everything like that, and I'm going to talk about that now. Now, they pretty much hit all like the main points. I mean, obviously the offensive line is the offensive line. The battle at left tackle. I see that they had Isaac Seumalo starting. But today, apparently in practice, Sua Opeta is out there starting over Isaac. So, I mean, maybe there's a battle there that none of us really saw at that left guard spot. Or they're just kind of keeping Isaac to the side so that makes sure that he gets healthy and everything like that. So, I mean, that's interesting. We know that the Kelsey, Lane, and Brooks, they're solidified. No matter what coaches came in, no matter who was the new head coach, those three guys, when healthy, are the best at their position. So that was solidified. It's that left side that was always questionable. We have that battle between Mailata and Dillard, where at this point, it looks like it's Mailata's to lose. I mean, Dillard is either in and out, and he's also been beat by Sweat a good amount of times. And, I mean, I hear Mailata putting, like, even guys like BG on the ground. So, I mean, that job is pretty much Mailata's to lose at this point. And then that left guard spot. I mean, I was talking about this with Joe. It's like, I didn't think Sua Opeta did that great last year. And he even said, honestly, he didn't even get a real chance to really prove himself because we kept giving time to, I don't even want to say his name, but you guys know the guy that basically tackled Wentz and was fixing his armband in the middle of a play. Yeah, that guy. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe Opeta is better than what meets the eye. And shoot, I mean, if he's better than Seumalo, dope. That's cool. I want a solidified offensive line. And maybe even when Dickerson is healthy and ready to go, he can compete for that spot unless they're really trying to save him for when Kelsey retires and really wants to develop him as a center. But otherwise, I feel like that left guard spot is wide open. Now, when looking at this depth chart, another position I saw is that wide receiver 2 spot, Jaylen Raeger. I thought about this the other day. Is like, is this job his to lose? Like, it seems like some of the other wide receivers named Quez Watkins is kind of on his heels. And that could potentially, maybe with a really good preseason showing, he can go ahead and take that wide receiver 2 spot and maybe put Jaylen in the slot. Is that a terrible situation to be in? Not really. The guy has burners. He's out there killing it in practice. Yes, it's practice and it's against the same guys. And sometimes in those situations, wide receivers tend to have a leg up on the defense because their quarterback's not being rushed, especially in 7-on-7s and stuff like that. So we'll see with like the preseason games, the joint practices with other teams. We'll see how Quez does and see if he can get that separation and get open still. But hey, if that's a battle right there, then so be it. I feel bad for Jaylen Raeger. He came in. He was our first-round draft pick last year. But if we can get a guy like Quez Watkins to use his speed on the outside as well and then get Jaylen to be shifty in the slot, I think that's a win-win situation. The biggest spot that really kind of caught my eye was the outside linebacker spot. They have Gernard Avery starting, and then behind him is not even like Joe Osman and Patrick Johnson. I just didn't personally. I didn't see it. Granted, this is unofficial. This is not what's going to be there week 1 or whatnot. But the fact that a guy like David Taylor is not on the outside, or Sean Bradley's in the I think 3rd in the depth chart for the middle linebacker. I didn't expect to see someone outside of, I don't know, you got Eric Wilson, Alex Singleton, and then who was that going to be that 3rd? Either TJ Edwards, David Taylor, Sean Bradley, but then Gernard Avery. Now, if you guys don't remember, we traded for this guy a couple seasons ago. After, I think it was the season after how we traded for Golden Tate, where it seemed like, all right, one season we traded for Jay Ajayi, and the next trade deadline we traded for Golden Tate. Failed, by the way. And then the next season we're all waiting like, oh, how he's going to come up with something great so we can get this playoff push, yada, yada, yada. And then we got Gernard Avery, who, honestly, I've personally only seen him play a handful of times. I think he's been injured in and out of the lineup. And I think I've seen him have like one or two really good plays. I'm like, oh, that's why we traded for him. But honestly, his name hasn't really been called. And to see him on this unofficial, I'm going to keep saying that because I don't want to make everyone under the impression that this could be our week one starter. But Gernard Avery, to be on that outside, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's killing it at practice and he's really adjusting well to that outside linebacker spot than rather being down in the ground at that DN. I think that's where he first was, unless he's like a 3-4 linebacker. So maybe he's developing more into this outside role and doing well in pass coverage and stuff like that. He has speed, I believe. So, I mean, that's the one thing that caught my eye. I really wish I wanted to see like a Davion Taylor there or a Sean Bradley or one of the young guys that didn't get a shot last year. I want to see them get more chances to get to play, because we know that linebacker spot's one of our weaknesses. We haven't really invested in that spot. Then we went and grabbed Eric Wilson, and we used draft capital last year to get these two guys. So I wanted to see them do better. But hey, maybe Gernard Avery is that dude, and we'll have a solid linebacking core. Was there anybody else on this list that caught your guys' eye on this depth chart, unofficial depth chart? Was there anyone that you're like, dang, I want to see him up more? Oh, I almost forgot to mention my boy JJ Arcega-Whiteside.
Just a quick editing note. I, Joe Castro, do not back anything that is about to be said about J Jaw. Now back to Brandon.
JJ Arcega-Whiteside is on there, and he's not even far back on there. I think he's like second in the slot. Why is he my boy? Couldn't tell you. He honestly hasn't really done anything. He's had like maybe 2 or 3 catches where you're like, oh, but then that's about it. I kind of feel like I'm rooting for the underdog, like the guy that nobody wants to see win, the guy that everyone's like, all right, get him out of here. He's taking up a spot. But maybe Wentz just didn't trust him. Maybe that's why he just never got the ball thrown his way, or he stinks. It's one of the two. I mean, hopefully he turns out to be something, because that would be honestly another wasted second-round draft pick when we had DK Metcalf right there. So who knows? But I know he's on there in second into the slot, so maybe he'll make a name for himself this year, this preseason, because otherwise, if he stinks up this preseason, he ain't gonna make the team. That's all I got for you guys today. Fly, Eagles, fly. Peace.
Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
Fly, Eagles, fly. On the team, touchdown. Time to get Jaylen this ring. You don't really want to start a thing. This a bird game nation, baby. It's a Philly thing. Hater, and you looking like you type trash. I'm just here calling with Philly the podcast. And we can call a man dog, or watch Miles score off the handoff. Rest of the division, your man saw Jackson like Sean, hunting like Randolph. Season here, early time to do them in. Your boy Philly Fresco, thanks for tuning in.